one day in the summer of 1944. We looked out and we saw on the main road columns of Germans, tanks and German soldiers living and going, a lot of them. We knew that they running away already, and we were very happy because we knew that soon we'll be liberated. And in town, there was no more German police, we could get out. So we just got out of the hiding place, and then the next day, the Russians came. We were overjoyed to see them, to be able to see the sunshine, to be able to go out in the fresh air, because this was already a few years that we couldn't see the daytime. We had to go, everything was at night, we were night people. 2 Russians came, and one of them was Jewish, and he said to us, "We're going already from Moscow, and you are the first Jews that we met." So we said, yes, the others, they killed them all. And we were hugging and kissing the Russian soldiers. They wanted to see how we lived here during the hiding time, during this bad time. And we showed them the hiding place. They couldn't believe it, how this was constructed. So the Russians wanted to sleep over one night, and they slept over. We were dressed all. We slept in the clothes, and they went into the hiding place, and they started to fuss around play around with the girls, and we knew that it's no good. So we told them to go, and we didn't do it next time. We didn't let them go in to look even next time. The Nazis were gone already. We were happy, but the AK was still hunting for the Jewish survivors. Matter of fact, maybe 5-6 days before liberation, they killed one woman. Her name was Matl. She went to ask her for a piece of bread, and the AK knew that she's Jewish and killed her. They wanted a clean Poland without the Jews. And we had to watch now, even to go at night, because they knew where we're hiding, they knew where to go. They were people from the villages. And it was very hard for us again. They killed one man that, I forgot his name, from Shemyati, that had a mill there. 2 of the partisans went to a village and they killed them because they never came back. There was a lot of those things that were happening, that they were looking for the Jews, but we didn't know where to go. We stayed another few days in Chapko's place, laying and sleeping in the same place that we dug up before. I could have taken back my mother's ring if I wanted. She had a diamond ring and a marriage band. He would give it, he would be afraid. But Harry, he said, don't ask him. Even if he saved you one day, it's worth the ring. Some took the money and killed you, so he was okay. I wanted to take it back, but he didn't let me. Eventually, my mother said, let's go to Drohichin, maybe the house is there. We went back to the town. My house wasn't there, it was destroyed in the war. Harry's house wasn't there in Shemyatycha. So my mother said, let's go to any house. So we went in. Where did we go? The principal of the school had a house and nobody was there. So we went in and we stayed there for a little while, but this wasn't good because it was very isolated, and soon the AK started working. So we knew it wouldn't be good, but we didn't know where to go. All the Jewish houses were either taken off or occupied. And then Harry and the rest of the partisans, they said, maybe we should go and take revenge on the Germans, go to the front, because it wasn't finished yet. The war was still on. They were still fighting near Warsaw, but we all say no. I remember I didn't want him to go. So I said, oh, I probably like him a lot, because I didn't want him to go to fight. And he didn't go, the rest didn't go too. One person went and he never came back. Rosenzweig, nice guy. He never came back. One of the partisans, Hunche Kaplan and Gdale Kaplan, two brothers, they had a house in Shemiatich. So we got a group of partisans and we lived together in his house. So it's safer. One night, the house was surrounded by the AK, and they knocked in the windows and they said, "We need a light for our cigarettes. Can you let us in?" So we knew that it's not the light. They just wanted to come in and kill us. I was hiding with my sister. I was crawling under the bed. And mind you, this is already after going through a few years of hiding. So one of the men, I don't remember who, said, "We have guns, and if you don't go away, we'll start shooting." They heard this and they left. After this incident, we decided that we should be on the second floor so we can defend ourselves much better. Because the AK also put mines in the smaller houses. Like the first house was Cooperhan's house in Shemiatice, and there was a girl from a different town that came there, and she was living with them, and she was wounded. So we knew that we cannot live on the ground floor. We have to go up. And the Warrens is a small town, so it weren't too many houses. Everything was small. But we found a house and we stayed a lot together, a lot of people. If you room for 5, we stayed 10, because this way was easier, first of all, with the ammunition that we had, and we could defend ourselves. You occupied whatever was empty, and this how it was. At the beginning of liberation, we were very happy. We said, "Oh, now we're free." And we never thought about going anyplace. We thought we'd stay in Poland. But those incidents, there were a few of them, we knew that we cannot stay in Poland. They don't want us. We didn't know yet where we're going, but we knew that we have to get out of Poland. So we started again thinking how we get out, where we go out, where will we be? No money. Harry wanted to go to Palestine. He had his sister there that left a long time ago. I had my grandparents, my uncles, and my aunts in America. So I said, our life will be easier now after all this in America. Harry, myself, and a few other partisans, we heard rumors that there is a place in Warsaw that they give you instructions how to go illegally to Palestine. They smuggle you, but you have to pay for it. So he collected from everybody who wanted to go, the partisan group. Everybody gave $100. He went to this man in Warsaw. He took the money and he gave Harry a piece of paper. And he said to Harry, "With this piece of paper, if you show in this town, they'll know what to do and they'll give you further instructions." But when he came back to the partisan group and he opened up the piece of paper and it just said Shema Yisrael, he knew that somebody fooled him already. He didn't give instructions, nothing. It was somebody who just wanted to take just the money, a con man. Harry felt terrible with being fooled on this. He took money from his friends, his partisans. He felt maybe they think that he took away the money for himself. But he told them, "Don't worry, one day I'll find him and I'll get the money back with interest." Before we left Poland, we needed to gather as much money as possible. Harry's father had a little farm, like 6 acres of land. He had 2 cows and a horse, and he gave it to a Polish man. His name was Boratyński, in the village of Wiercień. And Harry went over to get the cows at least and the to sell it, and maybe this way we have some money. We didn't have anything. As soon as he came in to this man, Boratinsky, and asked him to give him the cows and the horse, he said to him, "You misery, you are still alive?" But Harry got it. He told him, "You just give it to me." And he was probably afraid, the Polish man, because the Russians came. So he gave it to him, and we had those 2 cows we used for milk. My mother learned how to milk the cow, and he sold the horse, and then before we left Poland, he sold the 2 cows too. One of the cows that Harry had was pregnant, and she was supposed to have a calf, and you have to do, I don't know what, but Harry said you have to be there to help her. So I didn't want him to go by himself, because we knew already what's going on. So we walked. He was looking to the front. I was walking backwards to look in the back. This is how scared we were. And we came, we helped the cow. She had the calf, and Harry put salt on the calf, and the cow was licking it. I don't know why, but this is how they did it. And then after this, we had to go home. There was another chore to go home, because we were afraid again that they were roaming around at night, the car. One day, Harry and I went to Mrs. Gorbachova, because my family gave her some valuable things, some furniture, and we wanted to sell it to have enough money to go away from Poland, because we decided we cannot stay there. So when I came in with Harry, there was the Jabłoński, the policeman. He's the same one that saw me during the occupation when I went to Mrs. Gorbachova to get a suit. And when he saw Harry, he said to him, "You know, I saved your girlfriend. I didn't give her out to the Germans." Because they didn't know. If the Polish policeman wouldn't tell them who I am, they wouldn't know. I looked like a Polish girl. And there was another one that I used to go to school with, his 2 brothers, Terlikowski. Remember the name? They were policemen. They were taking part in shooting all the Jews. They were taking part, and that's why I hate them. Who goes to be police with the Germans? They shouldn't have been police, or they should warn the Jews that somebody is going to kill you, so hide. But they didn't like us. Jabłoński was a good one, in my opinion. He saved me. He could have given me out to the Germans. And Alice Gurwitz, he saved her too. After we sold what we could, me, Harry, and some of the partisans, we left for the train station in Przemiatyce. This was in the beginning of April 1945. And we went on a train, not asking even where it's going, as long as it's getting out of Poland. We left already the town, Przemiatyce, but some people were still there, because it was hard to arrange. You needed a train or a bus or a truck to get out of there. The Jews that were left, they stayed in one house. And this is a house that was 1st floor and 2nd floor. Not too many houses like this in a small town. The Jews were on the 2nd floor because it's easier to survive this way if somebody shoots. One night the AK surrounded the house and they wanted to kill the rest of the Jews from Przemiatyce. The AK went on the 1st floor and was shooting through the ceiling, but the Jews also had guns and they were shooting back. They were trying to survive. But in the fight, one Jewish woman from there was killed, and one man, Bluestein I think was his name, he jumped from a window with a grenade. He didn't know how to use it, so he was wounded with his own grenade, because when he threw the grenade, he jumped right away. Nobody in town, nobody came to help, to stop them. It's a small town, they heard it. They wanted the Jews to be killed. The Jews fought back, and the AK eventually left. But the Jewish people, they knew that they have to leave. So they got a horse and buggy they rented. And my cousin Esther was there, and they were going to the station, train station. On the way, Polish police surrounded them, and they told them that they have to go into the police station. But they knew already that something is wrong. AK. So some started to run, and my cousin Esther, she was the last one. She got off. Esther looked like a little Polish girl. She says to them, "I'm not Jewish, I don't know what I am running." She's from a different town. She thought they wouldn't know her, but they said, "Shut up, you Jew." And they took her to the police station. She said, "I want to talk to the commandant of the police." So they said, "Okay, you just sit down here, wait. He's not here yet, but he'll come soon." She sees it's an hour, it's 2 hours already, and she sees nobody comes, it's getting already dark. She knew something is wrong. They wanted her to wait, and then they kill her. So she got smart. She was planning in her head what to do. So she said, "Can I go to the toilet?" And the toilet is outside. You had to walk over to it. They said, "Yes, you can go." She walked over to the toilet, didn't go in even, but was running all the way back to the town. When Esther came back to town and she told everybody what happened, whoever was left, a few Jews, they said, "Oh, we had the same thing." And one Plotnitsky was shot through the leg. They were shooting. This is the moment when they knew they have to get out of Poland completely. A few days later, a Russian truck was in the town, and they asked them, "Please take us to the station." And they took the rest of the Jews who were left in Przemiatycz, and they took them to the train station. And she came to us later. When we left Poland, we didn't have too much to take with us, but the few things we had, we took in a backpack. We were traveling on freight trains from one place to another. We didn't have tickets or anything. We just got out on the train and we were going wherever the train is going. But it was open. It didn't have a roof over the head. It was like a platform. And if it rains on you. And I remember once was a terrible rain, but you have no place to go, you stay there. And then you dry out. Once I remember Harry said, "Come, I'll put you in the other wagon," which was a covered one. So I went, and Helen didn't want to go. So after this, she was very sick. She was drenched, wet, and it was a cold day. So she got pneumonia, I remember. Since we were going on freight trains, open trains, it was easy for anybody to come and do anything to us. It was a lot of stealing going on. We didn't have much, but whatever we had was very important to us. If somebody asks you, "Please watch my package, I just have to go someplace for a minute, I'll be right back," you should not do it. We were not doing it, because if the package was stolen, the people who ask you to watch it, they would take you to police station and say that you stole the package. So the partisan group was keeping an eye on our things and for us, that no harm will come to us. One day a Russian soldier climbed up on the train and he wanted to take from us whatever we had. We had very little. And I walked over to him in Russian. I said, "Listen, we're just coming, that's all we have. We don't have anything." So he started to yell and point a gun against me. He cursed me. He says, "Get out, you son of a gun." And Harry saw it's no good. Let's see what we can do. And Harry said in Jewish to his friends, the partisan friends, stand up, and if we need, we'll just push him down from the train. They stood up, and he was afraid. He saw that he's against too many people, and he got off the train. When we were traveling through Poland, on the way out of Poland, we stopped in a place in the city of Lublin. The place was Peret's house, and all the refugees, the Jewish refugees, we were all sleeping on the floor, on the cement floor. And we got food there from the UJA, I think. I'm not sure. We didn't stay in Lublin long, and then we got on a train that took us to the border of Czechoslovakia. So this was the first country we came. I think the town was Humane. It was a small town. I saw in the middle of the town it was music playing, and I don't think we were a long time there because I don't remember living there in a place. I just remember coming there and somebody gave us food. It's all the UJA, the Hayas, and the UNRWA. They all helped. After Czechoslovakia, we were moving from country to country. We traveled all over Eastern Europe and Central Europe. We went to Romania, and they assigned us to a house with other people like us. They were growing grapes, and it was a market, they had food, they had everything. The war was just finished. But in Romania we had what to eat. It was nice there. We didn't have money, but I went to the marketplace and they let you taste the cream. They had everything there. There was a lot of food. So I taste one, I taste another one. I was full already. I didn't have to buy anything. And we bought cherries. This I remember. Cherries, big, beautiful cherries. I ate. Then I ate like this and looked, full of worms. Oh, I said, oh my God, I threw it out, I ate worms. Once we went to the temple, and there was somebody, a representative from the UJA, and he gave us some money. With this money, we could buy something to eat, and it was much better. And since then, I always want to send some donations to the UJA. Then we were from there in Hungary. When we were traveling from country to country, the Zionist organization helped us. In every country, they gave us a different name. And they told us that in every country, you have to pretend that you're from this country. Like in Hungary, we're Hungarian. In Czechoslovakia, we Czech, because they were working to take the Jews, the survivors, to Palestine illegally then. When we were in Hungary, my mother went to get a package that they used to give us, food and clothes, and she took one package, but it wasn't much there. So she said, "Oh, I'll go again." She went again, and they started to question her. And they asked her, "What's your name?" She didn't tell them her name. She told them the name of my aunt, the one that's perished. They asked my mother, "How come you don't speak Hungarian?" She says, "Believe me, I never spoke Hungarian. I just spoke Yiddish." And then they said, "What street in Hungary did you live? What street? What city?" She said Budapest, but they asked her, "What street?" "Believe me," she says, "I forgot. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I'm all mixed up." And they believed her that she's mixed up, and they gave her another package. So we had something to wear, and we had some food there. And she told us, me and my sister, to go, but we didn't go. We couldn't do it. When we were in Hungary, in Budapest, Harry was walking in the street with his friend, also a partisan, Schleip, And he sees the man who took away the money, the conman from Warsaw. He saw him walking with his girlfriend. Harry came over, shook his hand, and he said, "Remember me?" Then he slapped his both cheeks and said to him, "Give me the money." He was shocked, especially with a girlfriend. He says, "What money?" He slapped him again. While he did it, a Russian soldier, he saw him slapping and he saw a lot of people there, and he said, "What's going on?" So Harry said to him, "Он у меня воровал деньги." He stole money from me. In Russian he said it. So the soldier answered, "Kill the son of a gun." The man was scared and gave Harry all the money that he had in his pocket, but it wasn't enough for what he took from him. The man said, "Don't worry, I'll bring the money tomorrow." But Harry didn't believe him. He told him, "Let's go to the Jewish organization. I want them to know what you did." And Harry and Charlette took this man to the Zionist organization that helped the Jews who survived the Holocaust to go illegally to Palestine. So Harry, he said, "He took money from me and he did this and this. We want to kill him." They wanted to kill him. And the head of the organization, he said, "You have to give the money. You should be shot for this, but just give the money. Tomorrow bring the money." Harry didn't want the man go. He didn't know if he'll bring the money the next day or not. And Harry said, "I want you to guarantee for the money that he'll bring tomorrow." And they said, "Okay, if he doesn't bring, we'll give you the money. Let him go, I'll guarantee the money." And sure enough, next day he came and brought all the money plus interest. And Harry paid all the partisans back. Then we wound up in Austria. But Austria was also still, the Russians were there. And we had to be careful that we're not Polish or others, we're from Austria. Like I told you, every country we had different names. And in Austria, when we came, they put us in a beautiful hotel where Hitler used to stay. The name of the city was Graz. This was a fancy hotel, but no other people, just a bunch of refugees were there. We weren't there for a long time. Then another group of people came, and another group, every time another group of people came. They gave us no food, we were very hungry. They gave us bread, it was so thin, and if somebody brought food, they took it out. The person in charge of organizing the refugees who came in, every time came in a certain amount, his name was Pine. In every place has to be somebody, the main organizer. And they appointed him, I don't know how, but I know he was a Jew. He was tall, he had red hair, I remember. He was in charge of feeding them and signing to what room. But this man was a terrible man. See, people brought food with them, and he took from everybody. He looked the packages, and he took the food from us too. "You cannot bring in any food," he said. I don't know what he did with the food. We were hungry. After so much hunger, we had another thing. And one day, Harry was hot there, so Harry took off the shirt and walked out of the room without a shirt, just pants. And Pina saw him, so he said, "Go put on a shirt," yelling at him. So Harry took him to the room where the partisans were with him, and they beat him up, and they said, "Don't ever take food from anybody who comes in, or any refugee. You give them food. They had hunger enough." They almost killed him. From this day on, he was perfect. He gave food, he gave back what he took away, and everything was good. They did a lot of terrible things, but it helped. You know, in these times, it helped to be like this. I just remember this story. We stayed in this hotel for a few days, And then we were transferred to a displaced person camp run by the English. The English prepared food for a certain amount of people, but there were many, many more, because the Jewish Zionist organization wanted to take us illegally to Palestine, and you cannot tell the English how many people is there. This was like in a military barracks we stayed. And in this place we were overcrowded and we were hungry. So we had to think a way how to organize some more food. And one day Harry overheard the English that they're going to get bread from a bakery. And they asked, who would like to go and help us? And Harry picked up the hand, he'll go. And he told his friends, you stay on the road and I'll throw the bread to you. Harry went with the English to pick up the bread from the bakery, and on the way back he was throwing out some bread to his friends who were waiting on the road. When Harry and his friends came back to the DP camp, they said that they'll share some of the bread with the refugees. But they were so hungry that they started a fight. This one wanted a piece, this one wanted. So Harry tried to calm them down and promise, you'll have your piece of bread. So they listened to him because they knew that he organized the bread. But we didn't stay too long there. In Austria, we met the Hayalim, the Jewish brigade, Jewish people from Palestine who joined the English army. The Hayalim helped to smuggle the refugees that were after the Holocaust to Palestine. They were very nice to us, very good to us. They gave us food, they gave us clothes. We felt very good knowing that there are Jewish soldiers. One day in the summer of 1945, the Hayalim told us that the next day we're going to go over the Alps to Italy, because from Italy it was easier to smuggle us out to Palestine. And the day came, they told us, leave anything what you have, leave it here in the camp there. We didn't have too much, but everybody had to leave it, so we came without anything. They put us on trucks and smuggled us over the Alps, and we came to the first town on the border that was Italy. And we couldn't get over it. It was tables set with delicious food, the food that we didn't see already for plenty years. And we were so thankful to them. From the town that we came and we had the food and everything, we moved from one refugee camp to another. Then we came to Modena. It's in the north of Italy. It's a richer people. Later they took us to the south. And in Modena, when we came, they had German POWs they kept there. And every morning they took them out, and I don't know what they did with them, but they had to get out. And we used to walk and spit on them. But they didn't let us. They said, don't do it. Was a lot of people there. Big camp. It was terrible. There was no food there. For breakfast, you have to stay like 3 hours before in line. When you stay for lunch, you don't get out of the line, you get the dinner. And it was so hot, we weren't used. This was the first place that we stayed there, and it was Italy. We never had this climate in Poland. It was so hot, and we slept on the floor, on bare floor, on cement, but we weren't upset about it. I don't know, we weren't upset. We were happy. And I remember being in Ancona. In Ancona, we were sleeping in tents, and it was right at the Adriatic Sea. And there were a lot of mosquitoes. Everybody was beaten up, but I wasn't. They didn't like me. We used to get packages from the UNRWA, dried eggs and cocoa and a lot of different things. And this helped us a lot. And I ate just this, what we got, because I couldn't eat the food. I just couldn't eat. The food that they gave us, to me, it tasted like when you hang up paper on the wall, you have to smear it with something before you hang it up. And this thick thing that you put on the paper, this is how it tasted to me. I couldn't eat it, no matter how hungry I was. I couldn't eat it. Terrible. Harry ate it. He ate everything. And there were a lot of people there. And we were happy that, oh, soon we'll go to Palestine. Soon we'll go to Palestine. Although I didn't want to go so much to Palestine. I wanted to go to America because I had grandparents here and I had uncles and aunts. One day we were in Ancona. We just came from Rome because we were going to get some food there. They gave packages of food. Helen was with me and her mother. When we came back, there was nobody in the camp anymore. The English transferred the whole camp to a different location. You know, this is how it was. They took you from this camp to another camp to another camp. We didn't know, but we came, nobody was there. We had to find out where they are. And somehow we found out, and the English, we asked them which train goes there, and they showed us the train. And this was a train that transported the English soldiers. And when we were on the train, they were very nice to us. They gave us chocolate, they gave us food, and one of them was a redhead, I remember, and he said that he'll take me to his mother. He liked me, he'd take me to his mother. We couldn't understand everything what he's saying, but a little English, we knew a little bit, a little Italian, and somehow maybe German, I don't remember. So, and somehow we understood what they meant, and they were nice, so we knew they were nice people. The train was moving to the destination we wanted to go, and we spent the whole night on the train. And the redhead, he was so nice. He and another one, a few more of them, they got off the seat and they told us, me and Helen and Helen's mother, to lay down on the bench and in the train and sleep. He was talking to us and bringing the food constantly. You know, the train stopped. They used to get on every station food. So they brought it, but I don't know why I didn't want to eat. I didn't eat the food. I didn't want him to give me anything. But they were nice, very nice. And we came to the place where my mother was, where all of them were. And they still were on the train. They still weren't in the location that they're going. But it was standing there, the train with them, and we came. After Ancona, we were going down the coast to the south. We didn't stay in one DP camp. It was every time came an order, take them here, take them there. And we were traveling constantly in the trains. It's, I suppose, wherever they had the places, they settled the refugees. I really was happy when they said that we don't have to stay. I thought maybe we'll go someplace else, will be better. When we were traveling by freight train, the train was like a platform. I was sitting usually at the edge of the platform and with my feet going down, tangling down from the train. I enjoyed it like this. But then once we went to a tunnel, and it was a very small place. I was afraid that my legs will be cut off, so I put it under the platform. I bent it under the platform. But after that, I was scared, and I wasn't riding like this anymore. When we were in Italy, The Jewish refugees were moved from one DP camp to another DP camp. And occasionally the train stopped on the way. Sometimes when the train stopped, there was near fields of grapes, and the refugees ran off the train and got as many grapes as they could. But it was not too much time to do it. I didn't go. I was afraid to leave the train. And the people later on were complaining, the Italians, they were good people, that we ruined their plans with the grapes. Yeah. Then we came to Santa Cesaria, further south on the coast of Italy. There were 5 Santas: Santa Cesaria, Santa Marina di Leuca, what else? I don't know, there were a lot of them. Everybody was sent someplace else. We were sent to Santa Cesaria. When we came to Cesaria, so from the station, we had to walk a little bit. I don't remember why. And on the way was the plants that in Poland it's called oleander plants, beautiful with pink flowers. And my mother was wondering, she says, oh, this never grew outside in Poland. We had it inside, in the house. We had a few plants like this. And she was very happy to see it. When we came to Santa Cesaria, we were placed in a house, an Italian house. The UJA put us in those houses. Next door to us was an Italian family. It was their house that we stayed in. They lived to one side of the house, and we had the other side. It was maybe 10 people there in one house, all from the partisans. It was me, Harry, my mother, my sister, Helen Kraviec, her mother, her sister, Charlette, and Plotnitsky. There was a lot of people there in one house. The Italian people are wonderful people. I'll never forget them. So 2 Jews, went, they slept in an Italian house. They let them sleep not in the camp, in an Italian house. They slept over the night, but they miserable things, they stole some things from them. They caught them. I don't know how, but I know they caught them. And they brought them to the Italians, and they gave back everything what they took, but the police says to the Italians, if they want to press charges, put them in jail or something. So they said, no, I don't want to press charges. Those people are sick people. They just came from a terrible place. No, this is how good they were. And other people would press charges, would send them to jail. They didn't. They shouldn't have taken anything, but this is how they, it was a funny time. Nobody was normal. We didn't cook because we had there were kitchens. The Jews who survived as partisans had a kitchen. We were assigned, this is the kitchen you go to get food. Then there was from concentration camp the people, and they had another kitchen, and so on and on. And everybody came and got a portion to eat. But later on, my mother said, let's get the portion what they have to give us, and we'll cook ourselves. So this is what we did, then we had better food. The only thing I can't understand that we didn't want to mingle too much with the people from the concentration camp, because they had a different mentality than the partisans. When they got bread, they still put it under the pillow, and they put it, what if tomorrow we don't get it? We didn't have it, the partisans, maybe because we could go in during the war and ask them to give us bread. We didn't associate with them. They have a different mentality. One man once told us a whole story. I was sick then, so they came to my place. I think it was in Santa Cesaria. And he said how he survived. He was from Vilna, and Panar was there, which is a death camp. And they dug out and they went out of there. And he told how terribly it was to do what the Germans told them. They had to pair up leg to leg, put the dead people a certain way. He told us such terrible stories that I couldn't sleep nights after listening to this. And like a few months later, we heard that he hung himself on a tree in the DP camp that we stayed. We used to go marching in the camp, especially in the DP camp Caesarea, calling for independence of Israel, shouting, vote for Israel to become a country. For the Jewish people, us, who survived the Holocaust, to have a Jewish state was the most important thing, because we knew that if the state would exist during our suffering, they would do something, and we would have a place where to go. We just came from the Holocaust, and no country wants us. We were very upset about it, and some people even got like a nervous breakdown, that they don't have where to go. They have to stay in the camps. They used to bring entertainment to the camps to make us feel better. They came people singing. I know some songs where came singers, and they were singing to make us feel better. We were depressed. You travel and travel and travel. You have not a pair of panties to change. It's miserable. Longing to go to Palestine, most of the people. So nothing was hard to do, because you say, oh, tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be better. There were people who didn't have anybody, nobody. I was lucky. They had nobody, no sister, no brother, nobody. A lot of people, most of them had nobody. There were a lot of Greek people with us, from Poland, Saloniki, from Hungary. That's why I know every song, because everybody brought a different song with them, and they used to sit in the evening and sing it. Mostly sad songs. Like one song is, I want to see again my house. It's just 4 walls and a bench, but I want to see, and I want to go back. Something like this in Yiddish. Everybody who lived through the war wanted to have something their own. And it was marriages, the one who fell in love and the one who didn't. If the marriage wasn't good, we used to say, oh, Hitler made this marriage. No wonder it's no good. This is a Hitler marriage. I was then 17 years old. I didn't know if I want to get married. It's too soon, everything. But it was the right thing to get married, because we were traveling together, all of us, my mother and they, and sometimes without my mother, just me and Harry and the rest of the partisans. In Santa Caesarea, a lot of the Holocaust survivors were getting married, but they couldn't get an official marriage certificate because there was no temple or anything. If you want to go to America or to Palestine legally, you had to have those papers. So when Harry and I decided to get married in September 1945, we wanted to get married in the synagogue in Rome. It's a beautiful synagogue that we saw in a previous trip. So Harry and I took a train to Rome, and we didn't have to pay. The Italians let us go without paying. And if the conductor tried to take us off, because we didn't have a ticket, we didn't pay, all of the Italians who were on the train, they got up and they said, don't touch them, they're refugees. They just survived a terrible thing. Don't touch them. They were wonderful people. They had pity on us. When we came to Rome to get married, we didn't have clothes to go to the temple. Somebody by the name Friedman, who was from Przemiatycz, and he was coming to our wedding. He gave Harry his suit, and the wife gave me the dress and shoes, and we went to the temple this way. We stayed with an Italian couple, and he saw us first coming just with our clothes. Then when we borrowed the clothes to get married, we looked different because we looked nicer. So he said, "Oh, what happened? What a difference." And I was in this synagogue before we went to get married to see how a wedding was a beautiful wedding. The organs were playing and everything. I liked it. It was just beautiful. But when I was married, when I came there was nothing playing for me because we didn't have money to give the rabbi, we didn't have money to give the cantor, so nobody sang and nobody played. First they took me to the basement of the temple, and it was a mikveh there. Before you get married, you have to purify yourself. So you have to say, go in the water and say something. The water was cold, and this was November. So I walked in, and she pushes me down. So I said, please, I can't breathe, and I'm cold. And I started to cry, I can't get in. So she had pity on me. So she says, okay, you know what? I'll wet your hair, and you'll go to the rabbi, and he'll think that you did what you have to do, because otherwise he wouldn't give you the certificate, you know. I said, good, please, thank you. And I said the prayer, and we went to the rabbi. When I came back from the mikveh, the rabbi said to us, to me, my mother, Harry, why are you getting married? She's 17 and no job, no money. How will you live? He didn't want to make it even. He just spoke Italian, the rabbi. We didn't know how to speak, but he spoke also Hebrew. So my mother understood what he was talking. And I said to myself, the rabbi is crazy. I'll live. And I just said, we want to get married. He said, okay, let's go up and I'll give you a certificate and I'll perform the marriage. And there was very little in Hebrew, everything what he said. And he said that we married and that's it. I was a little disappointed because there was no organs playing, nobody was at the wedding, very few, just Friedman, no food, not like a wedding should be, so I was a little disappointed. But then I was happy to get married. And then after the ceremony, when he gave us the official paper, we went back with a trolley car. I went with a trolley car to the wedding, and came back to the Italians also on a trolley car, and we didn't pay. The Italians wouldn't let us pay. After we gave back the clothes, we went to the station and we went back to Santa Caesarea. Very soon after I got married, I became pregnant, and I had my first child, my daughter Charlette, July 24, 1946. A few days before Charlette was due, they took me in a medical vehicle to a hospital in Santa Marina di Levoca, and the whole hospital was taken up with the pregnant women from the Holocaust. I stayed there for a few days, then she was born. It was a very easy delivery. But later on, like the second or third day, I had like an infection on one breast. My breast was hardening from the milk, and they put hot compresses and it was too hot. I had fever, I was sick. So the doctor who was there, he knew me, he liked me. I always used to give him all the chocolate and everything what they brought me, what Harry brought or my mother, I used to give to the doctor. He came to visit in the hospital. He said, oh, bambina nata bambino. A baby had a baby. I was 18 years old. He was very nice, a very nice doctor. They were all nice in the hospital. thank God it was penicillin. My grandfather knew somebody in the army in Italy, and he got in touch and they gave me penicillin. Every 4 hours I got a needle injection of penicillin. They just invented it, and it got better, but a long time. I was a long time in the hospital. And my mother wanted to see me in the hospital, and they didn't let in at certain time. So she climbed through the window and she slept in the hospital, and in the morning she took a shower and she climbed out of the window. Nobody knew that she was there. And she used to buy figs. She liked figs, so she ate the whole day, she ate the figs. I was very happy with my baby. This is the first time that you have something that belongs to you. For the Holocaust survivors to have a baby, it was like a victory over the Germans. We'll have a new generation, and the Jewish people will live on. Matter of fact, the whole camp, everybody who was married got a baby. Very few was that didn't have the baby, they weren't pregnant at this time. My mother was with me, so she helped me bringing her up because I didn't know how to do anything. But you learn very fast. One night I see the baby doesn't sleep. I don't know. I said, what is it? She's sick? And the carriage was from wood made. So we looked, and Harry says, you know what? She had bed bugs. The bed bugs are biting her, and that's why she didn't sleep. So Harry went to the head of the camp and said, we need a carriage. And the man didn't want to give him so fast. So he says, you better give me a carriage. Now, I want the carriage now, I'll wait. And sure enough, he got it. He would beat them up. The people in Santa Cesaria, they were traveling, even my sister. Everybody went to see Capri, to other places. I didn't go because I wanted to stay with the baby. I didn't want anybody to watch her, just me and my mother. Everybody said, your baby to you is like Jesus. This is what they say, that I'm watching it so much, like it would be Jesus. And it was easy in Caesarea to bring up a baby, because there were so many people that wanted to help you. Everybody wanted to watch the baby. Everybody liked her. She was a very pretty baby. We had a canteen. It means a place where you can buy a drink or you can buy some food. And Harry was working there. So we used to bring her there, and we said, Sarah, in Jewish, dance. And she used to dance. When she got old, I don't remember, when she was very little, you know, like when she was a year, even 2 years. We stayed there for a while. Sarah was her Jewish name, and when I came to America, we changed it to Charlette. Somebody suggested change it to Charlette. Charlette was very popular. I always used to say, I should have another one there. They used to give us, I give you an example, cigarettes. You know, cigarettes just the older people got. I was a teenager, but if I was with Charlette, they gave me the cigarettes. They gave for every time different thing, covers to cover yourself, blankets. Every time, this is from the UNRWA, from the UJA, all those organizations used to send things. Like my mother got once, we got peanut butter. We didn't know what peanut butter is. So my mother took with a spoon and started to eat the peanut butter, but it was stuck in her mouth and she couldn't swallow it. And baby food, we used to get baby food. My mother said, hey, it's good, come on, eat the baby food. We used to eat from the little jars, the baby food. Once they gave us meat in a can, but it was probably contaminated with something, I don't know what. I didn't eat it because I was in the hospital having Charlette. But Harry ate, and the other people ate, and one after the other had to go to the hospital. They had poison in the from the eating the bad meat. My sister was making fun of Harry that he's vomiting and he doesn't feel good. But then, in an hour or two later, she got it. She started to vomit. So Harry said to her, see, look, now you don't smile anymore. In Santa Cesarea was beautiful. It's near the sea, either Adriatic or Mediterranean, I don't know. At night, laying down in bed, you could hear the waves coming. It was very soothing, it was very nice. And it was beautiful. We used to go for a walk there. Beautiful places. My sister enjoyed it very much because she was free. She didn't have a baby, so wherever she wanted. But my mother and me, we stayed home. They showed American movies in the camp in Caesarea outside. It was American movies, but they were speaking in Italian. We didn't know Italian, and who knew English? We knew a little bit Italian, a little bit, not much. We didn't know all the conversation, all the dialogue, what they're talking, but we enjoyed it. More or less, you know what it is. Two people knew Italian. They knew, I don't know how they knew it. So I always wanted to sit next to them because in the intermission they used to tell us what's going on. I saw a picture, Perché sono la campana. It means for whom the bells toll. Ingrid Bergman and Gary Cooper, I didn't know the language, but I liked the picture. There are other pictures. You know, it was an Italian picture, Roma, Città, Rome Open City, something. Anna Magnani was the actress. And we like to see the war pictures. We enjoyed it, to see the defeat of Germans. In order to get money, we used to get from the UNRWA, I'll give you an example, margarine, a big can of margarine. We didn't need so much, so we used to smuggle it out of the camp. How did I smuggle it? Charlette was born already. I put it in the carriage and put Charlette in the carriage. And we used to give them this, they gave us eggs, Italians, they gave us other things. So we had some money, we used to buy gelati and ice cream. But it was a nice life there. They made for us a nice life. We knew that people are good to us. I bought shoes there, and my sister bought shoes. So we didn't know what shoes to buy, brown or black. So we all bought the same shoes. My sister, myself, Helen Kravitz and her sister. We bought 4 pairs of brown shoes. Buy black so it goes with a lot? No, brown we bought. I remember how it looked. In Santa Cesarea, when we were, they made a school, it was an English teacher to teach us how, when we come to America, how the drugstores look, how the life is. They used to teach us. And then I had a private teacher for me and my sister. He was an Englishman, and he used to teach us once a week the grammar and all this. Then we had another teacher too. And when I came to the United States, I understood English. And if I said something, it was with a good grammar, but I didn't speak too much because I was afraid that I'm not saying it right. We stayed in Santa Cesarea a long time, and then we were sent to Bari. And in Bari, we lived in military barracks, divided with like cotton things, and every family used to get not a big room. Like in one room, we were me and Harry and my baby and mother and sister, and we had beds that it's folded beds, hard, no mattress, and you had to wash some underwear or something. It was a laundry room, but not machines, just by hand you had to wash it. And this is the barrack that when you walk in, you saw painted the world, and hands like that they want to take the whole world. You knew it's Germans because it had the Hakenkreuz, I think. And then I asked Charlette, she was 3 years old, 2.5. What's the tun mit den Deutschen? What will you do with the Germans? Schachten mit dem Messer. I killed them with a knife because I was teaching her this. But we were happy, I don't know, we were happy that we are free already and we are in a friendly country. We didn't have a friendly country since we started. When we were in Bari, we could go to the city, buy delicious ice cream there. I didn't do so much because I had a baby in Italy. But my sister went to the Pompeii, is the city that, my sister went wherever they went, a group of people went, she was there. I saw Romeo and Juliet in Italian. It was playing in the next town, not in Bari, so we went there, I think Bologna, I don't remember exactly. When we were in Bari, we used to have Italian magazines. What I read was celebrity magazines, Bolero and Hollywood. Bolero was more romances. Hollywood was more the actresses and actors from Hollywood. I know till today which actress was married to whom, how many children they had, everything about their lives. And I loved to read it. I didn't understand too much, but more or less we knew. And I couldn't wait. It was romances going on. And if I didn't get it one day, I had to get it the next day. If whoever went to Bari, I said, please buy me the magazine. When I came to the United States, me and my sister, we had a whole valise just the magazines. In 1948, the UN was voting for a Jewish state in Palestine or against. Everybody came to barrack number 1, and they had a radio, and everybody was listening, everybody was nervous. And when we heard the last people who are for, we knew that the majority is for. We made a whole celebration, drinking and singing and dancing. And Harry put out the flag of Israel outside the barrack. I have a picture of it. There was one photographer, he used to make pictures every minute. I have so many pictures from Italy. And it was nice because the people were nice. They were very poor in the south of Italy. They used to come to us, wash the pots in the kitchen, and we gave them to eat. She came, one old woman, and she was singing a song. Viva Maria, viva cucina. Long live Maria, her name, and viva cucina. And long live the kitchen, what we give her the food. If I had a few dollars, I used to buy, lire in Italy. I used to buy something to wear, and especially for the baby, I used to get from America. My uncle sent me beautiful dresses for her. And they sent us packages, my family, with clothes. Some put, I told them that cigarettes are very good to have because we can sell it and get other things for this, buy food. But they take it out from the package if they see it. So be careful. So they put, like make-believe, pasta in a package, in a box. So on the bottom of the box, they put 2 packets of cigarettes, the rest was the pasta, and this, they had to know how to smuggle it in the packages so nobody takes it. One day we went in a place in Italy that was smuggling the Jewish people, the Holocaust survivors, to Palestine. But when we came, it was too late. We missed the boat, and at this moment we decided we'll try to go to America because we had relatives there, my mother's parents, sisters and brothers that came a long time before. And we thought that our life will be easier. I told Harry, our life will be easier. They'll help us with a job. They'll help us with anything else. So he decided, okay, we'll go to America. But we still had to wait. It wasn't so easy. America had it that they let in a certain amount of refugees. The quota, you had to have a number to go on the boat. I had 135 or something. Although I had a very low number, I don't know how long we would have to wait. You know, they didn't let you in. So we waited and waited till they gave it to us. Even though I had grandparents in America, my mother's father and mother had two sisters and brothers, two brothers, they still didn't let us in. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, they all wrote letters to the American consulate and showed how much money they make. And so they'll see that if they have to help us, they have the money. We wouldn't have to get anything from the government, but they still didn't let us in. They didn't want to let us in because it was Jews. So they were very anti-Semitic. But I came under the Truman Act. Truman was president then, and he allowed 200,000 refugees to come into the United States. And me, my mother, my sister Harry, and Charlette, we were all under this quota. Before we came to America, we had to be evaluated by a doctor. He was a psychiatrist, and he asked you all different questions. He asked me a question, how much is 21 take away 7? And I wasn't the only one. Some people, he said the same question, 47 take away 7 or others. And everybody was so scared and so afraid that they didn't know what to say. They couldn't add it up or deduct it because they were very anxious to make it good. When people came out from the doctor, they said, what did he ask you? What did he ask you? To find out what to answer. And he also asked me what I have on my leg, because I have a scar. So he said, what happens here on your leg? Half in German and half in English, but I understood what he meant. And I explained to him. The doctor also saw that my daughter, that was 3 years old, she had red eyes. She had it because the day before we were at the beach, and that's why maybe the scent came in or something. And he said, she cannot go to America with this eyes with her. We have to cure it. You have to come to this and this doctor. He gave us the direction and everything. And from then on, we used to go every day to the doctor. He used to put drops in her eyes. And she was crying terrible. She didn't like it, and eventually it got better. September 1949, we came by train from Italy to Germany, Bremerhaven. Bremerhaven was a port. From there we would go on a boat and go to the United States. And there were a lot of American soldiers there. Every morning they were playing and singing the Star-Spangled Banner. This is the first time I heard the American anthem. We had to wait in Bremerhaven a few days until we were eligible to go in. We had number, I think I had number 135. They had to tell us where to go and what to do. They gave us places where to stay, this I remember. And I remember cooking for Charlette and the little Primus some food, but because I didn't like the food they gave. We were very excited to come to America. Everybody wanted to go to America. They thought this is the country to be. First of all, it's a democracy, and they didn't have such terrible things like the other countries in Europe. We heard that if you want to work in America, you can make money, you can live nice. But we thought that after so much suffering that we went through with the Germans hiding and in the concentration camps, that they'll parade us in the streets and say, you see, those people lived through all the Holocaust. Eventually, our numbers came up, and it's me, my husband, Harry, and my daughter, my mother, my sister, and some of the partisans. We got up the boat called General SS Below. The second day or the third day on the boat, they gave us fish and other good food. And my mother said, oh, eat, this is delicious food. We'll gain weight now because we have good food. My mother always wanted to gain weight. Middle of the night, we woke up, we started to throw up. So my mother said, you ate too much fish. But it wasn't this. We were sick from the voyage, from the boat was going from side to side. I said, oh God, let it stop for a minute. I can't take it anymore. We were all seasick. It was just terrible. Everybody was sick, but not Harry, because they told us that it's better if you outside, not our place was deep in the boat, so it was shaking more. Men were separate and women were separate with the children. And Harry once came down, he had 2 oranges somebody gave him from the boat, some people, but even the oranges we couldn't eat. This ship that we were on used to transport soldiers. It wasn't the most comfortable place. We were all in a big room, everybody together, and it was like bunk beds, 3 bunks, like 1, 2, 3 going up, and everybody had to sleep in their bunk. I was so sick. Somebody was running, yelling, where did Columbus find this country? Why did he find it so far? He was a fat man. They called him the atom bomb. Everybody was throwing up. The little children were running around. The mother couldn't help them. And it was just, I can describe it how it was. And it was not just Jewish people from the camps. It was other people too, Christian. Because I know they prayed Jesus to Jesus, so they were Christian. We had to go down to the kitchen, to the place where they served the food. But whoever was sick, like I didn't feel good, I didn't go down for a few days, so I didn't eat at all. Oh yeah, and somebody came later on, after maybe a few days, we didn't go up. This was somebody from the boat, from the crew. And he said, you have to go up, and you have to eat something. If you don't eat, you'll throw up even more. You have nothing to throw up. So I went with him, and we went till the steps, and he says, you have to go downstairs, and this is where the food is served. I just smelled it, and I said, oh no, I can't, I'm going to throw up again. And I didn't go again. The voyage was terrible. I was throwing up all the way for 8 days. In the last few days, it got better because the boat didn't shake so much and we got closer already to the port of New York. I was outside, on top of the boat, but then I saw how it's just terrible, scary. The boat goes like to one side, like it's going to go under. And I was so afraid that I said, I don't want to look. I went back to my place. Although the trip was hard and we threw up and we didn't feel good, we were looking forward to come to this country and to build a future, because there is a future over there for us.